Hey guys, so I have the last video that I had put up was about a guy that had died and went to heaven but couldn't get in heaven because it's a spiritual realm. He went in, his fate would have been sealed, meaning he would have died in the physical, and whatever happens in the spirit manifests itself in the physical. So he could not get in, but he was able to ask a question, and the questions that he asked was like, like, would I be able to get in? Like, would I be able to make it? And for him, the first thing he thought to tell God was, look, I did all these good works. Like, I did some great things. Because mind you, he was a pastor. So he thought all these good works were just good enough. He was like, I did this, I did this. And the whole time, God stood quiet and just listened to him. Let him talk. And the whole time, God let him talk. And then when he was finished, he just basically said, your works are like basically nothing. And I wanted to explain that to you guys because I think in the last video that I did do with just explaining scripture and the last short Bible study I did, I was letting you know that it's what Jesus did on the cross, and it's not of ourselves and what we did, because we didn't do anything. We are just getting a free gift that what Jesus did, the sacrifice that he made on the cross is the very reason why we can be saved. And so here he thought his good works was good enough. Like, I'm a pastor, I taught your word, I did this, I did that. I, right? Mind you, the whole time he never acknowledged God, a relationship. So I really want to get back to this, but I want to explain why God said your works are nothing. All right, so here in Isaiah chapter 64, verses 6, it says, but we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags, and we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities like the wind have taken us away. So basically it's saying that we are all unclean. Why? Because we were born into sin. And all our righteousness, so all the things that we think, that all our good works that we think that we can do, is filthy. It means nothing. And they are as filthy rags. It's dirty. It's unclean. Why? Because sin is unclean and God is holy. So God is clean. God is perfect. So in order for us to be perfected, we needed to be clean by God. So what did God do? He allowed his only begotten son. Okay, so Jesus was fully man, but he was also fully God. So he was able to clean us up like no man on this earth can do what Jesus did on the cross, because he was fully God, but he was also fully man. So he could take on the things that and understand what we go through in our bodies. So he took on being a man, but also being fully God. You understand what I'm saying? So he's the only one that was perfect enough to die on the cross, raised from the dead. He can be clean because he was already perfect. He never sinned. So he was able to die on the cross for our sin, took on all those filthy rags for us. So when we go around telling people, this is what like the guy did. He was just trying to tell everybody, this is what I did. I was a pastor. I did this good thing. I did that good thing. I probably just mentioning all the good things he did in the church. I gave this person money. I gave that person money. I was good to this person. I gave this person when they needed this. They just naming all the things, and the whole time God is like, means nothing. It's as filthy rags. Why? Because your righteousness, you did not save yourself. You did not die on the cross. So, and it says we all do fade as a leaf. We all gonna die. And our iniquities, our sin is like the wind and have taken us away, because our sin the wages of sin is death. Okay? So if you die in your sin, we know what that equals to, right? However, we all need Jesus. With Jesus, the sacrifice Jesus made on the cross, because God, as it says in John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever should believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. This is the very reason why our rags are filthy. Why? Because Jesus was perfect and was able to die on the cross for us, because we couldn't do it, because we were already born in sin. So we couldn't die on the cross for our own selves. So that's why our righteousness is as filthy rags, but Jesus' righteousness is perfect because he never sinned. So he could be the one to take on all the sin and say, hey, he took on all the sin for us so that we can be saved. We cannot be made righteous without Jesus Christ. So when he mentioned this, it was just like he was wasting his breath trying to mention every good thing. So never get to a point And this is mentioned more than one time in the Bible, where there's people that be like, but I did this. I mentioned it, and like I said, this was a pastor. So this is the pastor that was preaching the word. And the next thing I want to tell you is people that think that because they did good things for God, that they're gonna make it into heaven. And I really want you guys to understand this, because it's there's not gonna be this is a very narrow walk. Being a Christian is a very narrow walk, and I think people don't understand it. And there's a broad way of sin and living it, and going to hell is very easy to go to hell. But it's very, very hard to make it into heaven. Why? Because we want to do, we was born in sin. And we got to do things according to what God wants, according to his word. And living in a world full of sin and just having a bunch of things that we want, we really got to really take our time and just say, Lord, and we have to surrender. It's the hardest part is the surrendering, but you're not by yourself, because you can do it with God. I'm telling you guys, don't think that you being a good person, one, or having good works and doing great things will get you into heaven. Your being in heaven is a gift. So the reason why a lot of people say Jesus died for me so I will live for him is because we owe that to him. Live for him means that I'm going to represent him as a man or as a woman. I'm going to read his word. I'm going to teach his word. I'm going to go into all the world and preach the gospel as it says in his word. So we have to live for him and let people know that people should know that you love Jesus, and people should know that according to how you live. So don't go around saying that you thinking that you're a good person and every little good deed that you did is good enough to get you in heaven. It is not. It's as filthy rags, because we need Jesus. So one thing he never mentioned, that man never mentioned, was a relationship with God. So this is not, a lot of people think it's just about religion. It's not just about religion. It's about a relationship. When I say God really came to have a relationship, because these other gods that people believe in, they gotta just do this 1, 2, 3 pair. He wants every second of your life to be with him. Do it. He's just telling you, do it with me. I will help you. I will be with you always until the end of the world. Like, God is amazing. He wants that true relationship. So it's not about having a bunch of different gods. When you get in a relationship, you decide to be faithful because you love that person. When you get with God, you know who he is. You got to know who he is, and you only need one God, because he's the only way, the truth, and the life. So basically, I want you guys to know that it's not about your good works. It's not about the good things you did. It's not about you being a good person. It's about what Jesus did on the cross. That's the only thing that matters, that's going to get you into heaven. But you do have to have a relationship and know God. And the question is, does God know you? Because that's going to be in my next video. Is a lot of people claim to know God and claim to worship him with their mouths and claiming him, but they don't know him. Their hearts are far from him because they'd rather live in sin than to actually have a relationship. So does God know you? Do you have a true relationship with him? That's what it's all about. You guys be blessed.